We're going live. Going live.
You enjoy that ice cream.
I will enjoy that ice cream. How about that? And I'll enjoy the Panthers winning as many, if not more, games than the Indianapolis Colts this year.
That's a lie. That's kept. Hey.
Oh, God. You did not do not! Cap. Into NASCAR by the nonsense, everybody. Me and Armany had a little bit of football talk before as we were getting on here. He's repping his Indianapolis Colts because, of course, as always, they're a quarterback away. So here we are. What's going on?
Panthers are always like 10 pieces away.
Matthew representing the greater north up there where Canadian bacon is ham. But anyways, here tonight we got us a loaded list of things. Yes, this is on the back of a fake pre-qualified Visa card. So there you go. We got us a little bit of loaded topics tonight. It's going to be a little bit of fun. We're going to start with talking about a little GMS Racing. Big announcement today, probably the biggest news of the day in NASCAR. Going to talk about the Texas AllStar race. I don't know if Armany was fortunate enough to miss that, but I didn't. Our king is live. Then we're going to talk about the sugar-coated media, the sugar-coated NASCAR media, which is crazy.
Oh, boy, about to get us temple.
Listen, I sound like a complete Trump supporter right now. The fake news media. Then we're going to talk about Nashville. We're going to preview Nashville, make our race-winning pick for the Ally 400 this Sunday, which I do not know if I'll get to see, but we'll see. And then we're going to talk about Gravedigger, the childhood icon of 90s kids, making an appearance in NASCAR this weekend. The GOAT of GOATs making an appearance in NASCAR at Nashville. We will talk about that to round out the show. First, back to round out the topic. First of all, I just want to let everybody know Armany's a prick. All right? This dude not only eats paninis, went to a gym this week and worked out in a normal attire in full-length blue jeans.
No, listen. This man is like, you can't curl 40 pounds. So you know what I did? I went in the gym and I curled 40 pounds and I stunned on his ass.
Oh, God. What a
man weighs like 150 pounds more than me and I curled just as much as his ass.
First of all, hold on. I said 40 as a number. I could curl more than 40. Easily.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the 55s, the 60s, the 65s. Oh, man. Anyways, let's get on to the first thing. I've already got my name on one of those Gravedigger die-casts. So Matt's the reason none of us will ever get any Gravedigger die-casts because he's already bought them all. Well, first of all, I didn't even know Gravedigger was in Canada. All right. Gravedigger is really worldwide. All right. So starting off, let's go with GMS Racing. GMS announces it will move to the Cup Series in 2022. Starting we've heard all these rumors of new teams. Colleague already said they're coming. 23XI is going to have a second car, or 2311, excuse me, for all the particulars. I believe they said Trackhouse is looking for a second car. All these things that are happening now. Here we go with GMS throwing their hat into the ring of things. So what say you? I was working. We had a hard day at work today because we're missing people. I was being a grown-ass man today and working. This guy was planning when he can make his next Panini appearance. So tell me, what did you think when you first heard that GMS is going to Cup next year?
If you would have told me this, I mentioned this on my new show, The Motorsport Ministry. But if you would have told me this like 2 or 3 years ago, I would have been like, well, yeah, no shit. But like now, it just feels so – it kind of just felt, well, it was fucking out of nowhere. My number one question is, I won't give too much away because I'm going to talk about it a lot. And like I said, my new show, The Motorsport Ministry. But where's the funding? GMS already struggles with funding as it is for running trucks. They shut down their Xfinity program because of it. So where's the funding to run a cup car?
So I would assume in this situation, because I haven't really paid attention to it, but when you think about it, GMS has majorly struggled with funding. And they sponsor their own trucks half the time. I would imagine this means they've already got somebody locked up. I would imagine they have a sponsor with a plan. They're not going to just wing this shit. The Motorsport Minister is kind of hot. Anyways.
Facts.
I'd imagine they're not going to just swing into this whole deal without a sponsor, without something lined up. I would assume they're going to have to scale back the truck program. But it is weird because, like you, I would have thought a few years ago, man, that makes a lot of sense. But then the Xfinity program pretty much failed. And I was kind of like, well, maybe they're not really that team. Maybe they're the perfect, they're going to be like Thor Sport. They'll be the truck series. They'll be a force to be reckoned with. It's a perfect place for Hendrick to put some guys, because that's kind of been the step ladder. GMS, Junior Motorsports, Hendrick Motorsports. Even though it hasn't necessarily happened like that with a lot of guys, that's generally what we're starting to kind of see. If you flirt with GMS, you're kind of in that Chevrolet fold to maybe go to JRM, then to maybe go to Hendrick Motorsports one day. Anyways, the conversation is going to be great.
Antonio, get the boys in the chat. We need to get the chat turned up.
So starting off, though, when I saw GMS, like you, I thought it was a couple years delayed. It's cool, but I'm concerned because, again, the Xfinity Series program struggled. Trucks don't always have sponsorship, and they have the biggest name drivers in the field. So it's kind of, one of those deals. God, I don't know if I'm reading in these chats. Anyway,
just keep talking.
Another conversation you're going to have is, one, where are you going to find all these charters? Because we're going to have a bunch of new teams coming. And two is, are they going to have a Hendrick Alliance? If they have an HMS Alliance, makes a lot of sense. HMS is really, really fast right now. So if you have that Hendrick Alliance, makes a lot of sense. So that's one thing you got to watch out for. So the next question on this topic is, your GMS Racing, what number are you picking? What driver are you picking? Think common sense. You're not going to say, I'm putting Chase Elliott in this car. Think realistic, guys who could be free agents, Xfinity or truck guys. Who would you pick? You're picking one guy, one number. Who are you picking? And then next we'll talk about who we think candidates could be.
Again, I talked about this in the show earlier when I recorded it, so I won't give too. Well, I guess I got to give the driver away now, but the number is probably going to be the 25 or the 26, especially because the 26 they run in trucks. I believe they run the 25 also.
Yep.
I said who the driver was on the show. I was going to say it for Tuesday because you put my ass on the spot. He doesn't bring a lot of funding. Well, he might bring funding now, actually. That's still to be determined. I guess the whole connection is the sponsor with the driver, more with the team. But the key I said was he's got very close ties, it seems like, to Chevrolet. Every start he's made, it seems like, for every top 3 series has been with Chevrolet this year. So I kind of went with a wild card. I'm putting Josh Berry in the car.
It crossed my mind. That is not who I would have thought. I don't think that's what happens. I think Barry first will try to go full-time Xfinity. I think that's where they really need to work on first. But not bad. I could see it. If I'm picking 25, especially if they have the Hendrick connection, because obviously Hendrick Motorsports used to run the 25.
Let's put a bidding war in the chat. We got a bidding war in the chat, boys. Let's go.
Oh, man. So Hendrick at HMS obviously used to run the 25 with Vickers, and back in the day with Ricky Hendrick and all that kind of connections and all that. Well, not Ricky Hendrick, but Brian Vickers and all that kind of stuff. So that's natural. The driver, it's not like, you got to think two ways. I could either put a young hotshot driver, or I could put in a guy that's really going to work hard at figuring out what we need with our team. For right now, you're probably not going to land him because he seems to be on everybody's radar, but I'd put Kurt Busch in the car. I put Kurt Busch in that Chevy. And again, number 25, like I already said. Now, with that being said, I put out a list on my Twitter, NASCAR_opinion today, of some guys that I think are available. Who else do you think could be names we hear associated with this ride?
I think it's going to be, because like I said, GMS is very Chevrolet-centric, kind of like how HMS is and RCR. So I think it's going to be some kind of Chevrolet driver. That's the main reason why I picked Josh Berry. But Kurt Busch could be an option. Probably someone maybe like a Justin Haley or Kaz Gralla. Again, they're kind of like part of that Chevrolet. I think it's going to be a Chevrolet driver. Any driver with a strong connection to Chevrolet, I think, is going to get that GMS ride.
That makes a lot of sense. I think another connection we could see, even though in an interview earlier in the week, or maybe last week, he said his goal is to stay Xfinity for another year or two, is this could be another opportunity for Noah Gragson. We both talked about JTG in the past just for the fact that it was Chevrolet. This would open up another Chevrolet ride, potentially even just as competitive, if not maybe a little bit more competitive Chevrolet ride. So that could always open the door. Then you're going to have your Kurt Busches. If Eric Almirola is booted out of SHR, he could potentially have a shot. These guys. Well, he does think Kurt has a brother, and Kurt does have a brother, in fact. So I think those could be some interesting names that get associated with it. But it's going to be interesting to see. I'm excited to see all these things. I definitely think Justin Haley, like Matt was saying, I definitely think he'll be in the full-time Collie car. I predict I think that'll happen. So he's off the table there. So it'll be interesting to see. But if Josh Berry gets announced, talk about a come-up. Talk about a change in over a year and a half. So that would be pretty crazy. But moving on to the next thing, we'll talk about the highs in sport. Sometimes we have to talk about the lows of the sport. This past weekend, did you get to watch the All-Star?
Thank God, no.
Well, God. The All-Star was about this much better than I thought it was going to be. When they announced Texas, we all kind of knew it was going to be a rough going. When they announced they're taking out more horsepower, rough going. Some of the pre-race stuff was cool, even though I have no clue why Homeboy was playing a full-ass concert as they were announcing the drivers. No clue why that took place. But overall, I think Texas in the All-Star race hopefully was a one-and-done situation. Just Texas does not race great right now. The All-Star was rough. You really couldn't pass. You had some passing. You had some guys that come through the field. And there's excuses you can make, which we'll get in our next segment with could nobody in the media could call this a bad idea or nothing. But we literally had guys drive from North Carolina to Texas to get lapped within 20 laps and then go back to North Carolina. And that was for the Open. But did you go back and watch any of the highlights?
I just saw Larson win. That's all I saw.
Larson's been winning. Larson, my pick was right.
That's the only part I cared about was when Larson crossed that checkered flag.
Keselowski tried to do some things, but see, that's what you miss. Back in the old days when they had a lot of horsepower and they could control the cars, Keselowski at least gets to have a shot at making a bigger run right there where he can really control and change lanes. He really couldn't change lanes. You had to just stick it in the corner, hope it stick. Matt didn't get to see the Open. He just got home to watch the main event. My God.
My boy, I tell you well.
But yeah, Keselowski couldn't do anything in the closing moments of that race. Nothing could be done with Larson. So it was a little bit rough right there. It was the All-Star race. It was rough. I don't know why we made that decision. Logistically, it made no sense. Financially, it made no sense. And, they said the ratings were up. They said the grandstands were up. I'm shocked. Something in the marketing department apparently is working. I have no clue how this race got more viewers, and I hope we do not see Texas. So I'm at this point where if we're going to keep doing stuff like this, just cut the All-Star race. I hate to be that guy. It's just a great event at heart. Bring the damn thing back to Charlotte. Let them be at home for a week. I don't really know. I'm almost done. I'm done with the All-Star at this point.
I haven't cared about the All-Star. I haven't cared about an All-Star race for like 5 years at this point. Ever since like 2016, I just didn't care. 2017 was 18, 19, they all kind of just suck now at this point. There really is. And the only way to make the All-Star race good is you got to make it like a week-long event. You can't just be like, oh, here's one race and that's it. You got to make the whole week or at least like 3 days worth something.
And bring back the pit crew challenge.
Facts.
That was fire. And open it up to everybody. Truck, Xfinity, Cup. They want in, they could freaking be in. But anyway, so enough with that, but that sprinkles into my next topic, something that bothered me for years. When I first created NASCAR Opinion, which again is never, obviously I don't work for the NASCAR media, that whole thing never happened, all that's fine and dandy. I'm busy enough at dirt tracks at this point.
And you're busy enough doing damn pre-race concerts.
One of my problems with NASCAR media is pretty much 100% is sugar-coated NASCAR coverage. There's starting to be some like Door Bumper Clear the podcast, even though they're not really media members. They've become a little bit of a media outlet. They'll kind of tell it how it is. Kyle Petty used to sort of tell it how it is. All that kind of stuff. Jimmy Spencer, which was Dale Jr.'s guest this week, Fire podcast. I was sitting here listening to Dave Moody on Sirius XM.
That's your first mistake.
Well, I listen to Dave. I usually agree a lot with Dave. He's okay. But, he's supposed to be this great media, and I'm afraid I'm going to stand up to anybody kind of thing. But Homeboy literally tried to convince somebody that the race was okay because there was passing on restarts. And then when they said no passing, they tried to say, or he tried to use Ross Chastain as an example, as if there wasn't 3 cautions and multiple cars spin in front of Ross Chastain in the first 7 laps of the race. Well, Ross Chastain moved from 24th to 10th. Well, yeah, with pit strategy and guys spinning and things happening in front of you and people hitting the damn brakes, That's going to happen. You're going to move up a few spots when Quinn Half is the next car in front of you. Like, things like that are going to happen. And I'm just tired of sugar-coated media. Name me the last time you heard somebody say something critical about the sport that needed to be said on national television. Exactly.
Exactly.
They don't. That's the problem. You know, even other guys like Colin Cowherd who host these sports shows, they'll say what they want to say. If it's negative or positive, they'll say it. They think the NFL's doing something stupid, they'll say it's stupid. NASCAR doesn't have that figure. There's no room for constructive criticism because they don't allow it. Everyone's afraid. Keep your lips sealed. I get it. You don't want to damage the sport. I don't want to damage the sport. But you can also critically talk about the sport without –
This ain't no live viewer show. We ain't got no live calls on this show.
Yeah, we ain't got no live call right here, especially with who knows what y'all would say. All right?
I kind of want to find out.
But what are your thoughts on that? That's one thing that's always irked me for a long time is sugar-coated media.
It's annoying. Like, that's why I don't listen and I don't listen to NASCAR radio or like NASCAR America or nothing like that no more, just because it's all the same thing. They just keep making excuses over and over and over again.
Well, that's what my problem is. We could have the crappiest race in history. We could literally have every single car finish exactly where they started. There is not one pass the entire day. And they would do their best to try to make it sound like it was a good race and tell you that nothing is wrong with the product and telling that the track – man, what a great – Jeff Burton would come on and say, what a great race today. What a fantastic showing we had. And I'd be like, I don't know about that, dog. I don't know about that. Like, there's people that think the Texas AllStar race was a great race. Some people that maybe that is their cup of tea. But if you're a media member, how do you not mention once this entire week that we drove all the way to Texas for a preliminary event that has no context to the rest of the season? None. We drove all the way to Texas for no reason. I don't know. It aggravates me. It's been like this probably since Jimmy Spencer left, which has probably been around 10 years. But you remember the crying towel?
The crying towel?
You never watched Jimmy Spencer on?
Oh, I did.
Oh, dude, the crying towel was fire, dog. That's what we need. We need a weekly crying towel, all right? Because he would call everybody. Apparently, at one point, he gave Dale Jr. directions to Victory Lane. I heard that on the podcast this week.
2009 to 2012, he could have used those. I can tell you that.
Apparently he did that because everyone was so afraid to talk about Junior, and he was like, I'll talk about Junior. I'll give him directions to Victory Lane. Like, he would talk about stuff like that, and nobody's critical of the sport, and it's just, it pisses me off. We're missing that aspect from the sport and talk about the sport, and we just need, as Matt said, the crying towel was awesome. He'd give one guy a cigar, he'd give somebody the crying towel, he'd pull out some random something out of his ass, give them that as an award. But that's something that's been bugging me for a while is just everything is so sugar-coated with the coverage of the sport. And it's up to Twitter. Twitter has to have these discussions, and nothing's going to get done on Twitter. We know that. But, hell, we got to bitch somewhere because no one on TV is going to say anything. We're going to have people stand in front of a camera in a suit and tie and say, the sport is great. This is the greatest competition we've ever had. The playoffs are awesome. That race was fantastic. It's the All-Star race, baby. And it's just like, man, I can't. The Straight Jacket Award. I remember that, the Straight Jacket Award. Armani, you got to go back and watch some videos. But
I got to answer this call.
Oh, God. Do not answer the call. Oh, man. Doesn't care about their viewers. That's good. Moving forward, Nashville this weekend. What are your thoughts? The Cup Series, I don't know if they've ever been to Nashville Super Speedway. They haven't been to the city of Nashville since the mid-'80s. But first time in, I believe, 10 or so years that any NASCAR is going to Nashville Super Speedway. So what are your thoughts?
I think it's just going to be like a tip. I think it's going to be similar to Darlington because it's the same package, same kind of track. So I think it's going to be very similar to the Darlington race.
You think
hold on. You think Nashville is similar to Darlington? It's the same package. It's not 550. It's the same Darlington package. I mean, it's like, let's be honest. Are you more hyped for them just being back in Nashville, or are you hyped for the actual racing?
Oh, I mean, I'll be the first person to tell you, I don't expect a great race this weekend.
Exactly. It's like, I just think it'll be like Darlington.
I think the one shot we have, which I hate, of course, they already put PJ1 and crap down. I think the one shot we have, which they do get practice in qualifying, is that they have never been to this track with this package. There's no notes. Now, they're going to get practice for a little, I think, right around an hour, maybe a little bit less. They're going to get a couple of laps around the place, but I do think that's our one shot. Is we're still going to have a lot of guys figured out. Nashville does race a little differently than other places. Now, I'm only solely going off of this 2002 IndyCar game that I had. And Nashville ran, but Nashville.
Yeah. Let's compare the Cup Series with IndyCar from 2002.
What I'm saying is it drives different. The entry is a little bit flatter than certain other places. So it's not a Charlotte or, thank God, it's not a Texas or an Atlanta. It's so different than that. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be a little bit of a unique situation. That's, I think, our only shot to get a really exciting race. But
don't be like IndyCar from 2002.
I enjoy new venues. Like when Kentucky's first race, I was excited to be in Kentucky. You never know what's going to happen. I like new venues, especially in the Cup Series. I'll be just excited when they go to Road America. I'll be more excited when they go to Road America. But it's cool. Hey, Danny B has done a great job promoting the race. It's cool to see a Twitter, YouTube guy, Danny B, get his opportunity to help a racetrack. So that's really cool. But I guess the more important question here is who's going to win the damn thing? And I made my prediction last week, and then I almost forgot. Then you reminded me.
Like a dumb.
Tell me, who is winning this thing on Sunday? Who is winning the Ally 400?
I've kind of just had this guy circled as the winner ever since this track was announced. Kyle Busch is going to win this race. It just feels like a Kyle Busch kind of win.
And so Matt said one of his guys that runs iRacing, he says he drives Nashville like Richmond. I could kind of see it being a big Richmond. But Richmond also sucks. But, anyways, that's a conversation for another day. So me and you agree. I think the Candy Man is going to be in Candyland, and he is going to win. I just don't know why. It just registers in my mind. He's ran a lot of laps there. He's won there. He smashed a guitar there. He broke everybody's feelings there. Kyle Busch, he has that. It's like there's certain drivers that just pop at certain racetracks.
That brother that Kurt Busch has, that was mentioned earlier.
Wait, what? Say that again? Yeah, the brother that Kurt. Yeah, the brother that Kurt has that no one knows. Yeah, so me and you agree. Kyle Busch to win this thing on Sunday. But listen, I mean, it's gonna be hard to stop Hendrick. Hendrick's got crazy speed. It's kind of ballsy to not pick a Hendrick car right now. But hell, I don't know if Chase. I doubt Chase, Willie B, or I don't know if any four of them have ever even started a race at Nashville.
I don't think so.
I don't think any of them have started it. I mean, I would assume over half the field has never started a race at Nashville. Harvick's been there. I'm sure Newman has been there at some point. I would think.
You really gonna count Newman in a Roush car?
I'm just saying I'm just answering the question who have been there. Harvick, I can't prove Newman, but I would assume Newman. With Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin probably made a start or so there. That may be it. Kurt Busch. I don't know if Kurt didn't run a lot of stuff, but Almirola maybe would have a start there, but I still don't even know about Almirola because really, he has been in Cup for about 7 or 8 years. Truex, he's definitely made a start there. I don't know, but it's going to be those kind of guys that have made starts there. I would assume Hamlin at some point. We know Busch. But hell, yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy. So there's going to be that's our one opportunity, I think, at a good race. So both of us picking Kyle Busch. We'll see. We're either going to be both right or both completely wrong. So the last part of this show tonight, pretty quick show tonight. The icon, the legend, the GOAT is officially part of NASCAR. And that is
the GMS driver.
That is Gravedigger. Now, did you watch Monster Trucks when you were little?
A little bit, but I wasn't too into it, but I'll watch it once in a while.
See, you're not redneck enough, dog. You are not redneck enough. All right, listen.
I'm part Hispanic. What do you expect?
Matt also brought up Ricky Stenhouse. Stenhouse has started at Nashville a handful of times. Remember, Xfinity Championships back in the day. Gravedigger. First of all, the goats. All right. First of all, if you like maximum destruction, you can F off. All right. Max D's great and all. He ain't Gravedigger. All right. Gravedigger is the Dale Jr. of Monster Jam. All right. Every redneck from here for 35 miles knows when Gravedigger is in town. All right. Not only is it the best looking monster truck of all time, it's the most badass monster. It has a green chassis. Come on, man. Plays bad to the bone. I could really care less about that, but he is bad to the bone. He's got the skull and crossbones flag hanging out the back. Got the red beams up front. Come on, dog. You don't get no better than Gravedigger. Going to be on Kevin Harvick's car. Kevin Harvick's car literally looks like Gravedigger. They should have put on the – damn it, why didn't they do that? Why did they not put on red front lights stickers? Why didn't they do that? You going to respond? The GOAT is in NASCAR.
Oh, I'm just high. I'm ready to get that die cast. That's one thing I know I'm doing.
We're not going to get it because Matt's fucking bought all of them. Oh, man. He has to get his picture. Dude, that is – I'm going to try to buy a T-shirt. That is the most badass looking ride so far this year. Any thoughts from you, Armani? Mr. Florida.
That paint scheme looks badass.
That's all you got to say. That is literally all you got to say. I gave my heart on that intro about the GOAT of GOATs is coming to NASCAR, and you go, that scheme is badass.
Facts.
I'm out of here. Anyways, thanks everybody for listening. I got to get Armani off of here. He's too focused on the chat. Man's already buying all the damn.
This chat is badass. All right, this is the GOAT here. The GOAT is the chat.
Matt's already bought all the damn diecast. Antonio's hitting on Armani, and I don't really know how to feel about that. And he's done tried to. He's always hanging out with his boys. He's never hanging out with none of the ladies, but he's always hanging out with the boys as he's eating paninis and working out in full blown blue.
You're eating Dollar General ice cream.
Hey, I'd rather eat ice cream than a panini, dog. I'm out of here. We're rolling out of here. Let the live viewer call in. I want to hear what this man's got to say.
Call.
Let him call in.
First ever live call on NASCAR by the Nonsense. Let's go. This kid ain't gonna call now. I swear to God.
Antonio, this is your shot.
You better call. I swear to God.
He's got about 30 more seconds.
Facts. Antonio, I'm giving you a chance to call. You better call. You or Diaz.
This is what he's going to do. He's going to wait till he has the chance, and then he's just not going to call.
Facts. You ain't calling nothing. I don't see nothing.
He ain't calling. Is he calling?
No, I ain't getting nothing yet.
All right, well, that's it, folks. Antonio missed his shot. He
said it's going to voicemail. He said it's going to voicemail.
He missed his opportunity. He missed his one chance. He missed his chance to blow. He missed his opportunity, bro, once in a lifetime. All right? Anyways, we'll see you next time. Make sure you follow Armani at Motor Minister. He's got his new podcast coming out, The Motor Ministry. That'll be exciting, even though he's already exposed all his secrets in this podcast, because that's all that matters.
I've exposed like one.
Follow me at NASCAR_opinion. And
you said wait, hold on. You said wait.
No, there ain't no wait, hold on. He's done had about 3 minutes to make this phone call. Matt's got all the Gravedigger gear. I've got to leave now so I can order some Gravedigger gear before Matt's got it all in Canada.
Should I call him?
No, he done missed a shot.
You got to wait till next week, Antonio.
Yep, you got to wait till next week. We're out of here.